Hi guys, Kaiser here, and welcome to a best of 3 battle between myself and TheConqueror753, who is one of the devs for the Rome at War mod. We're going to play some multiplayer games here. We're going to play, again, a best of 3 show match here. So I've got 20 seconds to pick a civilization. Now I know that one of the maps is going to be a naval map. And looking at our options here on the Rome at War website, you see the Athenians, their polyremes fire 33% faster. I really like that game plan. So we're going to go with the Athenians. And then I've also picked up the Germani as a land nomad option because they have the fast-working lumberjacks, which are cool. I love the Dejburg wagons. Those are really great. For my next civ, I'm going to go ahead and actually pick the Goths. I would really love to show them off because the Goths have a different approach to the game than you might expect from base Age of Empires 2. With their Goths, they're not the infantry civ you know. They've got very strong cavalrymen, which is actually more appropriate to history. They got +1 melee armor. You have the heavy cavalrymen, basically the cavalier upgrade in the middle antiquity age, right? So the castle age, essentially, they have the cavalier there. Infantry get additional attack versus buildings. Farmers work faster. Loom is research right away. So a really interesting mix of old Goths and new Goths. I also picked up the Carthaginians because they're also a very strong naval map, naval civilization. And I think for my final pick, you know what? This is Rome at War. We gotta pick Rome. Let's get the Empire in here. And that's our pick. We're up against the Macedonians, the Iberians, the Roman Republic, the Parthians, and the Phoenicians. This is a best of 3. So out of these 5 civilizations on each side, we're only going to be looking at 3 of them. But this should still be a pretty fun matchup. Okay, so here we are on game 1. We're playing on islands. My opponent, Conqueror, in the green, playing as the Phoenicians. And, you know, in the Rome at War mod, there are quite a few civilizations and they each have their different strengths. And I and my opponent both realized we're playing on a water map. We want to show off the new and unique features that Rome at War brings to the Navy. So it makes sense that we'd want to find those civilizations that are strongest on the water. And my opponent, he picks the Phoenicians. I think that is a pretty strong choice. If we take a look at what the Phoenicians bring to the table, you've got markets costing less wood. Now that doesn't sound like a huge bonus for the Navy, but you've got to remember, of course, that it's sort of a combination of things. You're saving wood in actually building the market, which is wood you can put into your Navy. But then also, at least in my own experience, I find that my island economy is oftentimes requires a market. It's very easy to get out of balance. You put too much on wood, too little on wood. You find yourself needing what the market can bring to the table. So it really encourages you to get that building out. Here is the more important bonus, though. Ships cost 5%, 10%, 50%, and 20% less throughout the ages. So you're able to raise a large navy more cost efficiently than your opponents. You take that, you combine it with the market, that's a really solid set of bonuses. Then you've got the demo ships upgrading instantly upon reaching the next age, so just one more bonus to help you ensure that you get naval domination, right? Land units, of course, cost 25% less gold is also nice. Take a look here, too, in the unique text. We've got Cedars of Lebanon. Lumberjacks slowly generate gold in addition to wood. You're probably wanting to throw a lot more vills than normal onto wood. The fact that they're generating gold on top of that just is that much better for the island's economy. Very strong castle edge tech, in my opinion, with the Phoenicians here. And then you've got the difference between Tyrian dye and Sidonian glass. Again, allowing your TCs to generate either gold or stone over time. A very, very solid bonus either way, and a solid choice for this map. Now, for me, and you guys saw my drafting, I was torn between the Carthaginians and the Athenians. And the Carthaginians would have been a good choice for this map. They have several bonuses that are very strong. If we were to pull up the Carthaginians real quick, let's just highlight this here. Naval techs costing 50% less is really nice. And then you've got the Kothon as an Imperial Age unique building, which basically lets you train up a navy very quickly. You can get masses of naval ships out very quickly. The Kothon provides quite a few bonuses. It can regenerate ships. It can do all kinds of things. It unlocks techs, and I believe even a unique naval unit. So it's a very, very strong late-game option. And the unlocking, or the cheaper naval techs is nice, too. But, in my opinion, when you're looking for momentum on an Islands game, it's hard to beat what the Athenians bring to the table. Or at least, I thought it was the better choice here. With the Athenians, we've got a couple of things. We've got techs costing 10% less in the, what is it, 10, 15, 20, and then 25? No. I'm sorry. 10, 15, and 20 in the early, middle, and then Imperial Ages. Also, very similar to the market bonus, mills, lumber, and mining camps all cost 50% less wood, right? So you've got wood savings there. You have not just naval techs, but all technology. So if you're needing to research fletching for your ships, or you're needing to research, this might be a silly example, but something like conscription to help get ships out faster. Just the various technologies, ballistics, whatever, all techs costing less throughout the ages. Really, really nice bonus for the Athenians. Then there's this one. This is the star of the show for me. Polyremes fire 33% faster. Now, polyreme is any of the monoreme, the bireme, the trireme. Any of those ships, they fire 33% faster. And that is one of the mainline units in Rome at War's naval options. Now, it's not the same, and let me pause for just a moment as I highlight this moment of tragedy. I've only got the 2 villagers here, so I say, hey, you know what? Let me do some work with the town center. And I mistime what 2 vills can do. I'm kicking myself. Yeah, at this moment, all the other vills, they were out getting deer. That's not how you want to start a competitive match. The Conqueror has beat me several times in our Age of Empires Rome at War multiplayer experience, so I was really sweating bullets when I saw that I lost the boar like that. But anyway, the galley line, what we AoE2 players are familiar with as the galley, the polyreme line. It's no longer as dominant because there's an interesting combat triangle between galleys and fire ships and the Hemiolias. So you no longer are necessarily going to win the water just by massing up galleys. You can lose very badly if you do that. But it's still an option. And knowing that the Athenian polyremes just fire that much faster means you don't need as many units in order to get out. Well, I mean, you're just putting out more damage, more DPS, right? And so that just lets you snowball faster, if you're lucky, right? On top of that, the quadrireme and the quinquereme don't require advanced weaponry to unlock. So these are some late-game naval units. They're stronger than what you normally get. They bring more options. And normally, you have to build that university and unlock advanced weaponry in order to get those ships. Not with the Athenians. So that lets you continue the snowball even better, right? And then also in the unique text, too, I love Solonian reforms. That's kind of the farm version of what we looked at earlier with the woodsman, where the farmers will slowly generate gold in addition to food. Now, early on, yeah, I'm using fishing ships, and you see I've already got one port out. My opponent, he's also got, well, actually, he's got a shipyard. Good for him. He's got a port here in the back. So, early game on islands, yeah, you're looking at fishing ships and fishing economy. But at some point, you see here, I've already got a few farms out. At some point, you are going to want to pick up some farms. And so having that constant trickle of gold is going to be very helpful on a map where gold can be sparse, right? Then you also have, and for me, the other thing I was looking at too, in the Imperial Age, you've got a couple of interesting unique techs. Athena Parthenos, giving your archery range units faster firing attack and 1 pierce armor. And then the Delian League, giving your cavalrymen costing 75% less gold. Right? Well, for me, I'm thinking, okay, at some point you're going to have to transition to land, and if you've been fighting on the water, you already are picking up those archer blacksmith techs, or at least the attack techs, which are the most important ones. So I can then transition into archers and try to do some damage on his island. That's my game plan. So Roman War Civs, they bring a lot of interesting features to the table. Let's go ahead and actually start casting this game now. At this point, we're both in the early Antiquity Age. I've got 30 vills, and you will see that I have... Let's see, I'm not sure if the vills count the fishing ships or not. No, they don't, because that's 29 vills right there. And I believe that's my 30th right here. Port in the corner. Oh, and here he is. Here's Conqueror sending 1 scout galley to harass my economy. Now, one of the beautiful things Roman War does, you can now take your fishing ships and garrison them in ports. So that's going to keep my economy safe, but it is idling the eco at the same time. And so the scout galley, it's doing its job, maybe not getting kills, but it absolutely is shutting down that food eco. Fortunately for me, he's backing away, so in just a second I'll go ahead and pop them out. So I've got 30 vills and probably about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 10 more. Yeah. Probably the scout. Yeah, the scout and the 9 fishing ships. So it's all eco right now. Let's take a look at my opponent here. Almost in the same situation. 30 vills. He has, let's see, a few more fishing ships than I do. So eco-wise, he's probably in an even stronger position. And look at this, he's getting out monoremes. That's the bad news. Now the good news for me is he's only got the 1 shipyard, it looks like. Yeah, 2 ports in the back. He's only got 1 shipyard. I have built 3 shipyards. So if my economy can handle it, I should be able to produce a navy faster. I've got the market up. And here we go. I am in the Middle Antiquity Age. This is a critical moment. He's teching up himself. About 3/4 of the way there. And I realize it's this moment when I see I'm in Middle Antiquity Age. My opponent, he's still in the early Antiquity Age. I want to call it the Feudal Age. But he's in the early Antiquity Age, and I get to thinking, you know, I probably should move out with a technological advantage. So I'm researching bireme. This will upgrade my monoremes to biremes. And I have the blacksmith researching bodkin arrow. Now, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, as I see this 1 bireme stuck, thanks to the fishing ships, but it's moving ahead here. And I see, my goal is hit him before he can get up the Castle Age techs, or the Middle Antiquity Age techs. Alright, 6 biremes. They're attacking him. So at this point, yeah, bireme versus bireme. They got the same techs. Let me see. I do have the blacksmith tech, he does not. Let's see, this is 6 for him versus 10 for me. So the numbers are on my side, and I have the extra blacksmith attack. Nope, he just got that in. So now it's just a numbers game. But fortunately for me, the shipyards, my 3 beat his 2. I'm able to keep them going. Vill numbers are just about identical. This is a close match here. It's all about momentum for me. I'm thinking if I can keep momentum going, then I might be able to win this thing. And notice, by the way, I'm mixing in different types of units. So now that I've got out about let's see here. I've got 8 biremes on the field right now. I recognize that if I allow my naval composition to get too monochrome, you know, if I stay too much on just one unit and I don't diversify, I will get counterpicked and destroyed. So I'm throwing in some fire ships, and you will see eventually, yeah, here we go, Hemiolias are on their way as well. So I'm trying to mix in all 3 of the main types of units. Both of my opponent's shipyards are down. And he's going to build more shipyards in the back. And I make a little bit of a mistake here. He gets 2 biremes kind of in the back line, and fortunately for me, he actually misses my fishing eco. This is where I think to myself, oh, well, hey, numbers are on my side, right? I'll just send whatever ship happens to be closest and attack these 2 biremes. Well, here's the problem. Biremes counter Hemiolias. Hemiolias are essentially worse biremes that do bonus damage against fire ships and eco ships, right? So what they counter very well, but otherwise, you don't want to send a Hemiolia against a bireme, and that's exactly what I was doing. So I need to pay attention to my naval tutorial, right? I played that earlier for you guys on the channel. Making a mistake there, and I took damage I would not need to take. I am very concerned about keeping the naval momentum going. So as I'm building up my eco at home, ouch, and look at this, by the way, he's got 55 bills right now to my 43. So I'd say the eco is in a really good spot for him. That's not counting fishing ships, but I would say we're probably even at least on fishing ships. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, fire ships. So many fire ships. Now, the beautiful thing, I've got my fire ships as kind of a front line, so this is fire versus fire. And then you've got the galleys in the back doing damage. So this is a wonderful combo of naval units here. Boom. All right, excellent. So keeping the momentum going, I feel pretty good. Demo ships coming out for Conqueror. And what a great choice. Look at just the beauty of that earlier naval engagement was the choke point and how my fire ships were able to just hold the line, let the biremes do their job. That same strength is about to turn into a weakness right here. As the demo ships come out, and I'm focused on other things. Oh my goodness, there it is. The Athenian Navy goes down. Now, the good news is he's got 1 shipyard. So, still having some difficulty, you know, producing that Navy. I've got the 3 shipyards back at home still. And even as he is, you know, trying to attack this unit here, I'm back at home. And at this point, I'm thinking, okay, you know, I'm winning the naval battle, I think. But what am I gonna? At some point, I'm gonna make the switch over, right? And I thought about a castle drop, but here's the thing: is in all of my games versus the Conqueror up to this point, I've gone for a castle drop. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But it kind of became a running gag between us that he's expecting that castle drop. So for me, I thought, you know, I've got to try to win this game without a castle drop. And instead, we're going to focus on getting an army out and doing some serious damage. What do we have here? We got Hemiolias, biremes. So at this point, I'm trying to kind of rebuild my naval mass. I want a combination of biremes, Hemiolias. Tri-Hemiolias should be coming in soon. That is a tech that I want to get. Let's see, I think that's... If I'm not mistaken, that's what this tech is right here. I have to double check that. But... anyway, so my game plan is archers. Get archers out and see what I can do. And if I'm not mistaken, there's a blacksmith. And here we go, an archery range as well for the Conqueror. Actually, 2 archery ranges. So we both have the same idea. We both have 2 archery ranges. And let's consider the archer strength, right? Well, for the Phoenicians, let's see. I don't know that this setup here tells me everything I need to know. I do know, again, you have the cheaper market, which is helpful for archer eco. But, we're going to the shipyard. Shipyard with, what is this here? A couple fire ships? Yeah, the Hemiolia is really helping there, if I'm not mistaken. I am mistaken. Those are just biremes there. So Hemiolia is in the background. Try Hemiolias now. But could he use them? Could he use that bonus damage? Anyway, fortunately, numbers do matter, and the biremes putting in the work. My opponent, almost up to the Imperial Age. I have 27 food in the bank, so not exactly in the same setup. But I am encouraged, even as he hits the Imperial Age. There it is. He takes the score lead for a half second, and then I've got it back. Think to myself, okay, well, you know, I've scouted a whole lot. I don't know what he's scouted, but it's probably equivalent to mine. So if I actually have a score lead and he's got a tech lead, well, that must mean that I'm doing something right, numbers-wise. Come on, guys, come on. Damage. At this point, he's got 66 vills. I'm sorry, I've got 66 vills. He has 93. So, you know, kudos to Conqueror. There's an eco strength here. The question is can he take that eco strength and mobilize it? Now, something I want to highlight too. I recognize an opportunity to use some of the unique mechanics that Rome at War brings to the Navy. And I actually went ahead and built a little bit of a choke point here. I've got a seawall and a sea gate, as well as a sea tower on the west side of my base. And I've got another gate wall combo on the east side of my base. And this just ensures that I have a safe fishing eco at home that he can't raid without at least signaling to me that something's going on. I'm also building a fort over here to kind of help protect this choke point. Maybe I could have moved that a little more toward the water, but I actually wanted to use it to protect this town center. There we go. I identified the castle or the fort, that the Conqueror is using in order to try to create a similar choke point situation here. It'll work. I gotta pull back. I'm gonna lose a ship or two there. Ouch. But the good news is we are winning that fight here. So the Navy, feeling pretty good about that. Getting up into the Imperial Age now. And he has a couple of triremes, which are the late game upgrade. And look at this, the Juggernaut. And the Juggernaut is a powerful ship. It is a half onager, half trebuchet sort of unit, or cannon galleon, I guess, kind of unit for the Navy. So very, very strong in the right hands, although very weak to boarding galleys and fire ships, anything that get up close. Ouch, ouch. Yeah, you see him engaging there. Now let's switch over to his view for a second. Now you'll see that he's got 4 composite bowmen there, 5 there, so he's got about 10 or 11 archers on the field. I'm moving in to reinforce my biremes with the Trechemelias. I'm not going to let him breathe when it comes to that naval eco. The naval situation, I want to maintain naval supremacy. And here we go. I have transport ships loaded to the gills. So I have 20 archers on their way. And I'm picking up the improved bowman technology. There we go. Composite bowman. So now I believe we are at parity archery-wise. And eventually, I can pick up from the fortress the unique tech that will let my archers fire faster and have more pierce armor. So in an archer versus archer fight, I should win this, even if it is 1-to-1. And in this case, I do actually have naval supremacy. I'm sorry, naval supremacy. I've got that. But I also have, I bet, tech supremacy, numbers for my archers. I'm attacking him, and unfortunately, it's at this moment where Conqueror, something happened, and he kind of crashed for game 1. But we decided, you know, as great as this game was, and I would have loved to have seen him press on. Yeah, it's like he sent me a message right about now. It's like, oh no, my game just crashed. And that makes sense, because I was expecting a little bit more of a reaction, but man, Eco is getting slaughtered left and right. The composite bowman putting in the work. And it's just, he is behind with the Navy. I think the archers, I probably win that fight. These guys will die, but either way, at this point, game 1 goes to me. He did decide, yeah, I can go ahead and concede this first match. And so we conceded that. We move on now to game number 2. Game number 2 of the best of 3 battle between myself and the Conqueror. I am in the blue, playing a civilization that might seem rather familiar to you guys, the Goths. But this is not your grandfather's Goths, not by any means. No, the Goths have been pretty significantly reworked in the Roma et Bellum mod to actually be a much more historical experience. The Goths we're familiar with in AoE 2, the all-in infantry rush, doesn't actually describe how the Goths fought in the real world. They were actually rather well known for their cavalry. And that's sort of reflected in Roma et Bellum's version of the Goths. So let's take a look at what they bring to the table. And I'll actually just pull it up right here. Heavy Cavalryman upgrade available in the Middle Antiquity Age. So let me translate that for you vanilla guys. This is the Burgundian bonus. The Cavalier upgrade is available in the Castle Age, is essentially what this is saying. So they have one of the strongest, I should say one of the strongest. They have a very strong stable line, obviously, especially in this Castle Age environment. So I don't know about the late Imperial Age. They may fall off a little bit there, but in the Castle Age, they're tough. And you couple with that this second bonus, Cavalrymen. So your cavalry line, they all get +1 melee armor. So the Goths are masters of the horse. I don't know that they're necessarily the best cavalry civ in the game. You know, the most recent update was the Horse Lords, which added in the Armenians and the Scythians. And I would dare say they are probably a better cavalry civ in the long run. But don't underestimate the Goth cavalry. They are pretty strong in Roma et Bellum. They do maintain their, I guess, basically free arsenal. Infantry +1 attack versus buildings per age, starting in the early Antiquity Age. So they do still have an impressive infantry force. Maybe not as overwhelming as in vanilla AoE 2, but it is pretty nice to be able to kind of fall back on the infantry, and for them to have that bonus. They're able to break down enemy infrastructure much more effectively than you might otherwise expect. Farmers work 10% faster, so that's the Slav bonus now working in the Goths' favor. So they have a very strong food eco that they can use for their cavalry or for their infantry. You're going to need food either way. I guess you wouldn't expect archers, but that would be kind of a surprise. Kind of like Spanish archers, I guess, you know, sort of a surprise tactic there. And then Loom can be researched instantly, so that's an old-school Goth bonus. We still have Huscarl as the unique unit. For our unique text, we have Anarchy, but you also have as a possibility Angon. Skirmishers throw a second projectile. So if you find yourself dealing with archers and maybe want to take an approach different than Huscarls, maybe you want to get into a late-game trash war, and you want your your skirmisher options to be stronger than your opponent's, this is a really solid choice. And then in the Imperial Age, yeah, you have Perfusion, barracks work 100% faster, or you pick up Lamellar Armor, which gives your cavalrymen even more armor. +2 melee, +1 pierce armor. Very, very solid cavalry choices. And then for your team bonus, barracks work 20% faster. So you have the team bonus coupled with perfusion would be really incredible. You can go into that, you know, late game Gothic infantry powerhouse. You can do that. Or you can lean more into the Gothic cavalry. And that's, to kind of maybe give you a spoiler alert, that's what I'm hoping for here. I'm hoping that even though the Conqueror built this mod alongside the rest of the Rome ad Bellum team, but even though he's one of the devs for the mod, I think he designed the bonuses for the Goths. I'm still hoping that decades of Age of Empires 2 muscle memory will betray him. He'll see the Goth symbol and think, okay, infantry. I've got to watch out for infantry spam. And maybe I can surprise him with the strength of Gothic cavalry. Right. And meanwhile, my opponent is playing as the Iberians. And I gotta say, I think I mentioned this in-game. I do love the matchup here. This is historically accurate. The Visigoths actually went west into Spain and formed several of the Spanish kingdoms that were around in that medieval era. So the Goths and the Iberians going toe-to-toe makes a lot of sense. Anyway, with the Iberians, they have some interesting bonuses. They're an infantry civ. Skirmishers fire 25% faster and have no minimum range. That's a beautiful bonus. I need to admire this first bonus for a second, because the Iberians of the classical era were actually particularly well known for their skirmishers and for their skill with the javelin. In fact, in Age of Empires 2, what we have with the Berber unique unit, whose name I'm forgetting off the top of my head, but oh, you guys know, the cavalry unit that throws the javelin. It's a skirmisher on a horse. You know what I'm talking about. Someone in the comments, let me know, because you know what the unit I'm thinking of. But that Berber unique unit actually, historically, was a Spanish unit. And this was a Spanish tactic that was developed in order to fight off the Berbers. Which is pretty funny. I mean, it's sort of a historical anomaly that the Berbers get this that unique unit. But regardless, the Iberians were very well known for their skill with the javelin, so that's reflected in Rome ad Bellum very well, in my opinion. Infantry generate food while fighting. The rate increases with unit upgrades. I love this bonus. This is such a wild, unique, cool bonus, and it encourages certain tactics. I can imagine you'd want to get a men-at-arms rush, or the Rome ad Bellum equivalent of a men-at-arms rush out. In the late game, you can sort of fuel your army on your own attacks if you're able to go heavy into infantry. And then you do get supplies and forced march for free, which make your infantry cheaper, and they move faster, if I'm not mistaken. They have the Kaitratus as a unique unit. Take a look at these unique techs. We've got raiding bands. Kaitrati also generate gold when fighting. So that's an infantry unit. It'll generate food and gold. You can build an entire army just off of what they're able to pull off there, right? So, Kaitrati, pretty cool unique unit. Or you pick up Soliferum. Skirmishers pierce through armor, and they deal 50% less base damage. Now, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm reading that correctly, that means that skirmishers actually do less base damage. But that's okay, because skirmishers don't do a lot of base damage anyway. Most of their work, as we see here, I am going to go ahead and get this kill on the villager. A little ambitious of them. They don't do a lot of base damage anyway, so they're still very effective versus, their counter units, or the units they counter, like the archers. But they do less base damage, but then their attack goes through pierce armor. So in a late game situation, if you're dealing with an opponent that has mustered up all of the armor that they can muster, if they've got all the armor up, they'll actually do more damage with Solar Power. Right. That is interesting, though. I'd love to see the math on how that breaks down and how much more damage Iberian skirmishers would do. In the Imperial Age, you've got Conqueror753. Infantry gain a charge attack. Oh, here he is with the revenge. And so, yeah, he's moving in with the short swordsman rush, right? Which, again, is going to be generating food for him. As I try to wall up my side of the base here. Conqueror753. Infantry gain a charge attack, or the Cantabrian Circle. Cavalry archers get a charge shield against range attacks. So basically, for the Iberians, in the Imperial Age, you've got a choice between picking up either the Urumi Swordsman bonus for all of your infantry. And I don't have the numbers. I mean, the Urumi attack might be stronger, but it's the mechanic, the concept of it. You either give your infantry the Urumi Swordsman bonus, which, again, they're gaining food and gold, possibly, you know, with that too. Or you give your cavalry archers the Shrivamsha Rider bonus. There we go. So we're on the attack here now. He does not have blacksmith techs for his infantry. I do have the attack upgrade for my cav. So I'm able to repel this invasion here with minimal damage. And at this point, I hope I've shown, with the team bonus too, farms contain 50% more food, so that's a really nice bonus there. Both very similar civs. They're both infantry civs with some farm bonuses, or some food bonuses. Very, again, infantry focused with some cavalry options, and some really cool unique techs. So hopefully you can see what a fascinating matchup this is, Iberians versus Goths. Now let's go ahead and dive into the actual match here. The Goth player in blue, me, just repelled this short swordsman rush from my opponent. I want to say he might have got 2 Vil kills if I'm not mistaken, whereas I got the 1 Vil kill earlier with my initial scout. Right now I'm just trying to harass him. He's got 36 Vils to my 38. It's pretty close. 2 Vils. It's a nice bonus, but it's not going to make all the difference in the world. Let's see. He has 15 farms. I've got 18 farms, so a little bit more food. And at this point, I'm hoping to go, again, like I mentioned earlier, my game plan is cavalry. I want to try to surprise him with knights, and a lot of knights. He has a blacksmith up. He's got a barracks up, but no other military units. And in that barracks, he has Levy Spearmen. Okay, so he's got 9 spearmen on the field. Or in the barracks, anyway. Here we go. Teching up to our Castle Age equivalent, the Middle Antiquity Age. And you see I'm throwing down a 3rd stable. I'm all in on the knights. Here comes the 10th Spearman for the Conqueror. And you'll see that he is nearing the Middle Antiquity Age. He's got 18 Vils on food. It won't be long before he can get the Castle Age himself. And this right here is a critical moment for me. He moves out with his 10 Spearmen. Starts doing the damage. I lose 1 scout. I lose 2 scouts. And I barely get away with my last scout. So this scout push is over, and in a small-scale sense, this is a win for the Conqueror, right? But this sort of clues me in, like, wait a minute. He's got 10 spearmen out. And even if I want to go knights, and yes, I'm hoping I hit the Middle Antiquity Age first, and I get the blacksmith techs, and knights can march over, you know, the feudal age, early antiquity age, spearmen. Even so, if he's got enough numbers, that's a fight I don't want to take. I need to do something. And that's why, as soon as I saw it, I threw down a second barracks, and I realized I need to start getting up infantry techs. Alright, so leaning into a Gothic strength here with their infantry. Getting short swordsmen out, picking up the upgrade for short swordsmen, which is called... I know it, it's broadswordsman. Of course I remember that right off the top of my head. And here we go, second TC going up for me, third TC going up for me. So I've got a pretty strong economy behind this if I can repel this attack. In fact, I think he actually has an equal lead right now. But that's because I technically has him. So he's pushing in with feudal units. I am in... I keep using Navy terms. He's pushing in with the early Antiquity Age units. I have Castle Age units on the field. Alright, so... And I have at least feudal age tech for my infantry. And this is a moment. He's pushed inside my base. There is no escape for him. I'm using my knights to try to get into the skirmishers. Let my infantry deal with the spearmen. And fortunately for me, this more or less goes exactly according to plan. Iberian skirmishers are good. And look at the lack of minimum range. That's helping him out a lot. He's pulling back in order to try to get distance, but... Boom. You know, they performed better than other civilizations' skirmishers would, but that was a tactical blunder that has given me a pretty significant bit of breathing room. I'm in the Middle Antiquity Age now with 3 town centers, building up this economy, and he's just hit the Middle Antiquity Age himself. So I'm able to now try to apply some pressure to him, while at the same time booming up eco back home. Here we go, broadswordsman moving out. Second town center being considered the conqueror there. Now what I'm hoping to do, I'm wanting to put out a lot of infantry pressure, and I want to continue building some infantry just to try to convince him that maybe I'm making a tech switch and he needs to consider anti-infantry options. He needs to go all in on archers in order to stop this infantry push. And if I convince him of that, well then maybe I can turn around and you know, surprise him with the fact that I'm staying on cavalrymen, right? Here we go. Now you see he has the spearmen, which for the Rome ad Bellum mod, you got to think historically, spearmen is actually our Middle Antiquity option. So these guys are way more of a threat to our cavalrymen than we might be used to thinking of them just from the graphics. Okay? So don't let that fool you. But the knights are in. They're trying to raid and do damage. At this point, he's got 49 vills, so just about 50 vills. To my 65. I'm trying to get out. I'm trying to survive, but no, I'm blocked off, and I'm kind of this sort of a micro version of what he did earlier in my base. But I think I got a little bit more damage with the knights, so there's that. And then here we go, the infantry being annoying. No, I'm sorry, Levy Spearmen. Levy Spearmen doing their thing. Meanwhile, back home, producing more knights. Trying to keep the pressure going. And at some point I realized, you know, raiding is fun. And if you can sort of cripple the economy of your opponent, that's great. At some point you got to be ready to go for the kill. Yeah, I think it's right about here where I realize I'm not... Can I get in? Can I get in? No. Great quick walls from the Conqueror, by the way. He's doing a very good job blocking and protecting his vills. And here, the hole is plugged. These knights aren't getting out. This is a waste. They go down. Yeah, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and send 3 vills forward to throw down a siege workshop and try to crack open the nut that is this Iberian base. Keeping the eco going at home, but I got to admit, Conqueror is actually catching up in build count. I still have a 12 bill advantage, but it was 15, right? So I think he's probably doing a better job with the idle TC time than I am. And here he is, hitting up a 3rd town center. Now, if he can continue to do better than me at the idle TC, and that was with 1 TC down. Well, now he's tied with me. He may very well catch up economically. So it's going to be important for me to try to do damage as soon as possible. Get the killing blow in while I still have a lead, right? Now, so here's the cavalryman, and I gotta say, I'm really kicking myself. If you pay attention to the descriptions of the 2 civilizations, you may realize, Kaiser, you're missing out on a pretty significant Goth bonus. Remember, the Goths get heavy cavalrymen in the Middle Antiquity Age. And I didn't think about that. I'm so busy focused on, massing units, and I'm thinking primarily of the melee armor. The extra melee armor is nice, but I ought to be picking up that heavy cavalry upgrade, especially because I want to go so far into the Nightline. Have I mentioned that I do love using monks, or in this case priests? Just being able to heal up your units, get the occasional conversion. It's great. And look at me. I have got a lot of food and a lot of gold in the bank. That's great for knights, and it's also great for teching up to the next age. But I don't have the buildings, so I gotta throw down a temple of my own. In order to get to the next age. There we go. 4th Mangonel coming online. And the reason I'm going Mangonel is I had seen an archery range, if I'm not mistaken, with my last, I thought I saw an archery range. I might be mistaken, and maybe what I was thinking was just, I need a unit to destroy buildings, and I'm worried that he's going to go archers to try to deal with my infantry. So if he happens to go archers, well, I'll go Mangonel. And if he does anything else, if he goes infantry or cavalry, well, I have cav with, extra melee. Even though it's looking to me an awful lot like I did not pick up my castle age. And here we go. I throw down a castle on his walls. He is actually throwing down a castle, a defensive castle, at the same time. I'm gonna get some bill kills here. This is a good fight, but I'm going to take. Mango versus Mango. I think I trade 2 for his 1. Unfortunately, I've got numbers. Siege needs to back out. Yeah, so there's sort of bad news and good news there. The bad news is the castle went up. I can't press through and end the game right there. The good news is my opponent did lose a lot of units there, including villagers. I now have 92 bills to 67, and I'm an age up over him. Fortunately, several of my bills are actually protected by these palisades. So his mangoes could try to get closer and snipe the builders, but to do that is to risk letting the infantry get the kills in. Here we go. I'm in the Imperial Age. I actually went ahead and moved them out and got them kind of behind the castle just to make sure I really wanted to make sure those mangoes did not get a good snipe off. Now, here we go. I think, yeah, I finally remembered as I was taking up the final stages of the castle age tech. Wait a minute. I need to pick up heavy cavalrymen. There we go. So now these are heavy cavalry units. And he's not careful. One down. Second one down. Let's take a look at the economy. Look at me floating 3,000 food and no gold. I am focused in on the attack here. And I don't see that my entire gold economy, or I didn't see, that my entire gold eco is just totally misplaced. Just sitting around doing nothing. So finally I'm moving them out, getting them repositioned, needing to sell off some food. And also notice how I'm down to only 6 vills on wood in the Imperial Age. That's not a good number. So I'm letting my eco suffer a little bit by putting all my mental energy into the attack here. But good news for me, the attack is working so far. My opponent gets up the Imperial Age to Conqueror. I'm not giving up without a fight. Getting cavalryman now, so he's going into Iberian Cav himself. Although I don't think that's the unit he wants to be making. You know, if you were playing the Iberian Strengths, you might be going Cav Archer, or you'd be going Infantry, I think. You also see what Conqueror later told me is he said my game plan was to go heavy into the skirmishers and take advantage of the Iberian skirmisher bonuses, which makes a lot of sense for kind of a late game post-imperial situation. But I think earlier when you saw him try to attack in with the spearmen and the skirms, he was trying to make it work in the feudal age, and because I had the cavalry up, well, the cavalry and the infantry were able to deal with the spears, and the cavalry was able to just walk over the skirmishers. And here they are again, kind of a similar situation. My knights will go through the few spearmen he's got, and then the skirms, you know, in this situation, he told me I was trying something, had kind of a unique game plan in mind, and I love that kind of strategic creativity. But in this case, he calls the GG well played. And that's game 2 for me. Now, technically, that means I've just won the best out of 3. But I thought to myself, you know what? The people want more. You want to see more Roma ad Bellum at work. And yeah, game 1 was kind of a, you know, he sort of conceded, he sort of conceded, but really, that was a game we both wanted to have keep going, and a technical issue kind of ruined that one. So we said, you know what? Let's run game 3. Let's go ahead and take a look right now. Game 3 of our best of 3 battle between myself and the guys. Here we are with our final battle of the best of 3 between myself and the Conqueror, one of the devs for the Roma ad Bellum mod. And we have got a really interesting match here. Myself in the red, playing as the Roman Empire. And, you know, I had a couple of options. I could have gone Carthaginians, I could have gone Germani, but I thought, you know, this mod is called Roma ad Bellum, and as cool as all of these barbarian civilizations are, we got to see some more Rome on this channel. You know, we gotta actually experience the glory of Rome in the Roma ad Bellum mod. So I decided to go with the Empire. I thought that made a lot of sense on a Mediterranean map because they've got an interesting combination of. Well, actually, let's go ahead and take a look. So you got Capped Ram and Onager available in the Middle Antiquity Age. So we actually have those 2 siege weapons available in our equivalent of the Castle Age. That's pretty strong. And that means if my opponent is not careful, I could use the Onager to really melt through buildings and try to win the game before the Imperial Age. Right? This one's pretty cool. Scout Cav, Skirmisher, and Spearman units cost 20% less. So I think I mentioned this in the past. It's very similar to the Byzantine bonus, but we don't have camels. But instead, the Scout Cav benefit from that bonus as well, which, to my memory, the Byzantines do not get cheaper Scout Cav. With the Byzantine bonus, it's just about the cheaper units. I'm sorry, the counter units. Spearmen, Skirmishers, Camels. Here with the Empire, we actually get cheaper Scout Cav as well. That's a very solid bonus and may prove rather useful. Legionaries. The Roman unique unit for the barracks. They train faster through the ages. 25% faster in our equivalent of the Castle Age, and 50% faster in the Imperial Age. Legionaries also gain +1 Pierce armor in the Middle Antiquity Age and another one in the Imperial Age, so +2 armor overall. They can tank a lot of arrows. And finally, advancing to the next age is 33% faster. So this is a very strong civilization as the game goes on. You see a lot of things unlocking in the Middle Antiquity Age, a lot of things unlocking in the Imperial Age, but not a lot in the way of bonuses to help you get there other than the cheaper skirmishers and spearmen. So you can repel an attack as I turn off view lock. Is that even on in the first place? Anyway. I have no idea why that's doing that. That should not be doing that. Okay. Anyway. I think it's my space bar. That's what's happening. All right. So you got some interesting bonuses here. And you have the Praetorian Prefect, which is a cavalry unit that's available in the unique unit. Now look at these unique texts. Now for me, the star of the show I've not even mentioned yet. When I picked the Roman Empire, I recognized there were two things I wanted to take advantage of. The team bonus and one of the unique texts. The team bonus is Scorpions have +1 attack, so I'm doing more damage with my Scorpions. And with Siege Ballistae, Scorpions gain +2 range and no minimum range. So, without a doubt, the Roman Empire has, I would say, the best Scorpions in the game. And I thought, well, if I tech into them, that can be very, very powerful. I really enjoy Scorpions. I don't know that they're the strongest unit in Age of Empires 2, but I do think they are underrated, and we don't see them as often as we should. So, the opportunity to use them here with the Romans' unique bonus, yeah, let's take advantage of that. I also have Castra Network as an option, force costing 25% less and building 50% faster, so I can choose to pick up kind of a blend of the Slavic bonus and the Sicilian bonus, where castles both cost less and they build faster. But in order to do that, I'd have to give up on the Siege Ballistae, and that's not happening. In the Imperial Age, I've got Pax Romana. Civilians units take up 25% less population space, or Diocletian Reforms. Infantry slowly heal when near forts. Now, I love the idea of Diocletian Reforms because it's sort of expanding on something unique to the mod. You know, there aren't as many aura bonuses in the base game. There are a few like the full work, but Rome ad Bellum introduces more of them. We have different things, like, again, for the Germani, their outposts can be upgraded to allow their military units to move faster, their civilian units to move faster around them. It's a really, really cool bonus. I love that sort of thing. I think there's room for more of that kind of thing in AoE 2. And I was pretty happy to see that there. So I like the idea of Diocletian Reforms, but Pax Romana is hard to pass up, especially in a late game situation. I'd imagine Diocletian Reforms would be good if you were wanting to end the game in the early Imperial Age and you're going in with infantry, you're trying to end the game with infantry, and you're wanting to pull back weak units to heal them up and then go back to the battle. I can see where that would be useful, but if you're expecting a late game slog, you can't go wrong with Pax Romana. So, that's the Empire. That's my side of things. And here's the port, and I will say, one of the things that's a big moment, I want to snapshot this, because this will define the early part of the game. I went into this map thinking, you have to contest water. You know, water is going to be a huge part of this battle. Conqueror later told me, he said, I totally forgot about the water until my scouts saw your port, and I was thinking, oh man, I gotta maybe get on one of those myself. So, or maybe he was saying that about the shipyard. He's gonna say that coming up in a second here. But as soon as I hit the early antiquity age, you're gonna see one of the very first things that I do: get that shipyard down and be ready to contest. My opponent, speaking of, the Conqueror, playing in the green as the Macedonians, and a civilization that, in their own time, was ruler of the known world before the Romans showed up. They are an infantry and cavalry civilization, and they've got some interesting options here too. Barracks and stable units receive +1 pierce armor in the Imperial Age. Now that means, if the game gets to the Imperial Age, and I'm massing up Scorpions, they do pierce damage, and the Macedonian player goes either infantry or cavalry, they're going to be more resistant to my Scorpions. So I get the +1 damage as a team bonus, but that's negated by this bonus right here in the Imperial Age for the Macedonians and the Macedonian infantry, Macedonian cavalry. Not just Scorpions, of course, but any kind of archer. He gets any kind of raiding done. Speaking of raiding, I got out one scout galley just to interrupt his eco, and I'm pretty happy about it. Because, you know, I'm not trying to end the game or anything. I just want to shut down his food eco for a little bit. And I'm going scouting, and I realize, hey, he doesn't actually have a shipyard up. So that makes me feel pretty comfortable about my naval control. Right? Anyway, let's get back here. Melee attack upgrades are free. This is huge. Right? That means that if you were to go for some kind of scout rush, some kind of night play, this is the Magyar bonus, right? The melee attack upgrades are all free. So, going knights or something, it means that you're hard hitting right out of the gate. You don't need to use the blacksmith in order to pick up that damage. On top of that, university techs cost 50% less, so a little bit of an Italian bonus thrown in, a nice nod, I imagine, to Aristotle and his, I guess the Greek legacy in general, but then also his training of Alexander. Town centers support 15 pop, a little bit of a Chinese bonus there. So town centers support 15 population instead of, I want to say is it 5? Is it 5 normally or 10? Yeah, it'd be 5 because you start the game with 3 vills and a scout, and you only got 1 more that you can build. So yeah, so instead of 5, it's 15. It's pretty nice. And the elite juggernaut technology is free. So they do have a naval bonus on this map. But it looks like, for the most part, the Macedonians are focused on their land warfare. They have 2 unique units. The Agriaspide. I'm pronouncing that in the Latin way. Argiraspide. But I'd have to... I don't know. I might be mispronouncing that. Anyway, they have a very unique infantry unit and the warship Tessara Conteres, which is basically a heavy transport ship. Right? Their unique text, Heteroi. Stable units have +20 HP, and cavalrymen are immune to conversion. What? Right? So, one of my favorite things to do to repel a cavalry attack is to get up monks and convert those units. So now that's just no longer even an option. Now I don't know whether that means if it's like redemption. I don't think that's what redemption means. I actually think what that means is that you simply cannot be converted in the first place. They're no longer eligible to be converted, which is wild. Or you pick up Pesataroi, which gives infantry +20 HP, and their unique unit is immune to conversion. So either way, they're a resilient bunch. We could also do combined arm tactics in the Imperial Age. Siege units move 40% faster, or Diadoki, slightly weaker elite immortals, elite Medjay warriors, and elite hoplites can be trained at the town center. So these are unique units that normally are not available to the Macedonians. That the immortals, I believe, should be the Persian unique unit, if I'm not mistaken. I know they get the war element still, but the immortal, the Medjay warrior is Egyptian, and the hoplite is the unique unit for Athens and Sparta, or the Athenian unique unit. No, that's what it. All right, now I'm frustrated. Hold on. The Spartans. Let me see. The Spartans get the Hippeus. The Persians get the immortal. Yeah, there we go. There's the immortal, and that means the Athenians get the hoplite, right? So those unique units, they're going to be slightly weaker, but the Macedonians get access to them. So that's a really cool wink and a nod to the death of Alexander and the Macedonian Empire being broken up into 4 smaller kingdoms, including the Seleucids, the Ptolemies. Those are the 2 that jumped to my mind, of course. The Ptolemaic kingdom giving rise to Cleopatra, and the Seleucid are sort of the inheritors of the Persian Empire, so I would imagine that's where the immortal reference is coming from. Now, let's go ahead and dive into the game here. At this point, we're both in the Middle Antiquity Age. He's got 37 bills, I've got 39, but my eco is probably a lot stronger than his because he has completely surrendered water control. So he's trying to get damage in with bowmen, and if he can break in, that could be bad, but I've got a fort up now, and this is a defensive fort. So, you know, good luck breaking through and doing any damage. You're not going to be able to slip through either of these ways. I'm getting up a few skirmishers just in case, because these are early Antiquity Age era bowmen. You know, they've got the Middle Antiquity Age blacksmith tech for an attack, but otherwise, you know, you're not composite bowmen. You don't have the archers, so a few skirmishers can still do the job of just scaring these guys off, doing some damage. And here we go. The Siege Workshop is online. Me. Now let's go take a look at what he's up to. The Conqueror. Throwing down a second town center. Getting up his Middle Antiquity Age archers, his armor. Let me see if he's... Okay, there we go. Improved bowman. I believe composite bowman is the Imperial Age upgrade. So improved bowman on the way here. Not much, but just being able to thin the herd of these archers a little bit, not bad. Three TCs for him. I am running on, I want to say 2 TCs, so... Yeah, eco is about even right now. He actually has a little bit of an eco lead. Again, other than the fishing ships. Once you factor in the fishing ships, I probably have an advantage. Bad news. The improved bowmen are about to break in. And I'm going to try to... I'm hoping to do some repairs that he wouldn't notice. But no, Conqueror's on top of it. He knows what's going on. And he actually gets almost 3 vill kills here. I do buy just 1 or 2 more seconds with those vills, and that will make a difference. 3 scorpions out. These are Roman scorpions. They do additional damage. And here we go. The Siege Ballista bonus is coming online. And once that clicks up, I will have additional range. Yeah, +2 range, no minimum range. So they're going to be firing farther and using that team bonus to do more damage. Oh, isn't that just beautiful? Boom. Archers are down. Feeling pretty good at this point. And in the background, because, you know, you can't just go all in Scorpions, right? You need something. And what I've decided I want to lean into is the Legionary. Now again, with the Empire, Legionaries have additional Pierce armor, which is going to be really useful if the Conqueror stays on archers, right? And of course they do train faster, so I am getting up quite a nice mass of Legionaries nice and quick. The Roman Republic has a different set of bonuses for their Legionaries. I'm going to skip ahead just a little bit. You know, while this is going, because at this point there's not a lot of fighting. Conqueror here, if you slow down a little bit. He's got 77 bills to my 62. So, at least as far as land eco goes, he's got a little bit of an advantage on me. But I'm on the offense here. Conqueror, 20 archers online. But I have a mangonel, which I could upgrade to an onager if I wanted to. But I'm kind of focused on the Scorpions, to be honest with you. So, I've got up, right now, 4 Scorpions, a bunch of Legionaries with a lot of Pierce armor. Boom. Yeah, and the beautiful thing about Scorpions compared to Mangonel, Mangonel have more potential for damage than Scorpions do, but you can mass up Scorpions easier. They cost less. And you don't have to worry about damaging your own units. And it's harder to micro against a Scorpion than it is against a Mangonel, in a way. One thing to keep in mind, if you download the Roma ad Bellum mod, which I encourage you to do, I just put out a video on how to do that. It's easier than ever. Definitely give the mod a spin. But be aware when you train the Legionary, it's a unique unit that can switch between melee and ranged attack. The Legionary starts out in the ranged formation. You need to actually click the button to switch them over to melee. Here we go, we have the Argida Spide, which, if I am not mistaken, is kind of a spearman unit that has some extra pierce armor. Right, so it does a very good job of withstanding arrow fire while doing its anti-cavalry work. Now, I might be mistaken on that. I would need to read up on the Argida Spide and double check how that unique unit works, but just looking at, you know, the distribution of stats, has a lot of pierce armor, it wields a spear. That makes sense. At this point, look at this, I've got 5 more Scorpions moving in, so this is 5 plus another 5. So 10 Scorpions and a bunch of Legionaries. Let's go. For the glory of Rome. Here we go. Archers coming out. Oh, and the mangoes. The mangonels. Now this part was driving me crazy because I'm like, oh, attack, and I didn't realize I've got them on the ranged formation. I need to switch over to melee. Fortunately, my one mango sacrifices himself to take out both of the enemy mangoes. And now the archers have to be a little bit worried. They gotta be at least a little bit worried. I'm loading up bills into a transport ship. I've got an idea. You know, the first game, I didn't... Oh, ouch, 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 ouch. Down to 8 Scorpions. The mango's got some good shots off there. Here we go. And all I want to do is hold the line and maybe give him a taste of that castle, you know, the castle drop that we love so much. But this is hurting. I'm down to only 6 scorpions. Oh, look at these. Look at these unique units. Just tanking range damage. Archers taking, you know, good hits, but I decide that I'm probably not winning this fight. My army gets cleaned up. Oh my goodness, look at this. Oh. That's just bad play on my part. Got the Bills out, got them safely into the boat, and then just did not pull the boat away. And somehow I misclicked something, and you know the Legion goes on an exodus. This is Teutoburg Forest right here, and Varus right here is leading the charge. You know, just heading over into Macedonia. It's like, wait a minute, I got an idea, guys. Let's attack the group of improved bowmen one at a time. It'll be great. Fortunately, I see the first one. I say, okay, wait a minute, guys. Back up. Now, unfortunately, he does have ballistics, which I think might be renamed in the mod, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. No, I guess it's still ballistics. Anyway. Here we go. More legionaries doing their job. What you want to do, if you've got a good cluster of legionaries, you want to split them up so that half of them are doing the melee damage. They're up front, they're doing that work. And the other half are behind, throwing in the javelins and just continuing to add in additional work, because you can only have so many units on melee at a time. So you can put in even more damage by switching some of them to range. And this is a good moment. I'm trying to do some split fire work. These heavy scorpions are they're doing great for 3 scorpions, but still just 3 scorps. And I got a speed A with that great pierce armor. Work. That's the bad news. The good news is the Legion's doing a good job. Really hitting Conqueror's eco hard. He actually still has a bill lead on me, but only by 7 bills. Yeah, and unfortunately, these guys fall apart. And now he's going to build a defensive fort right here. That's just going to, like, right as I get my own transport ship up with more vills. Nah, I don't have the military to defend them against this. I'm moving them forward, but this is a waste. It is closer to completion than it looks like, because it took a lot of damage, but even so, this is a waste. This is a waste. And once again, get in the boat, that's great. And hey, you know what we should do? Let's go ahead and get out of here and make sure these vills stay alive. More vills go down to the bottom of the ocean in a vain attempt to get this castle up. No, I'm sorry. Even the power of Rome has its limits, and we cannot get that castle up. Not while Fort Macedonia stands. We gotta pull back and actually consolidate the army. You know, I'm trying to get too many shipping hits in. You know, a little bit here, a little bit there. But the castle drop is not going to be the game-ending blow I wanted it to be. Here we go, more legions. I love this unique unit. It is so much fun to play around with. And on top of that, getting out some scorpions. At some point, I'm going to remember I've got these 7. But here we go. We've got a lot. And again, remember, the Empire trains their legions faster than the Republic does, so able to mass them up pretty effectively. I have like 31 at this point. 31 with a combination of mangonel and scorpions. Honestly, I wish I stuck with the scorpions. For me, I would go either one or the other. Either go scorpions or go mangonel. You can certainly go mangonel as the Romans. You do have the onager available in the Middle Castle Age, so that's an option. But I would say no. Stay on scorpions. Maybe pick one mangonel if you want. I have advanced weaponry coming in, which gives your missile units +1 damage. So that helps with the legionary and their attack. It also helps with the scorpion. And what I'm wanting to do is claim this corner of the map, because what I've been doing is building one big army all the way back in my base, sending them all the way over to fight, and if they die, in order to reinforce them, got to go all the way back here. Well, if I could set up a base here in the corner, that's way closer to the front line. I can maybe do some more damage that way. All right. And behind that, I'm getting up a lot of stables. And my thought process is I'm putting in a lot of gold into these siege units. The legionaries cost gold. I need some kind of trash to support this. And I'm thinking of the potential of going scouts, which again, for the Empire, 20% cheaper, right? So some really nice synergy between the Legion, Legionary, the Heavy Scorpion, and now Scout Cav. Meanwhile, this whole time, the real star of the show have been these fishing ships. And these beautiful juggernauts here. That's a great unit. But these fishing ships, you know, they've really cleared out this whole lake. They've given me a lot of food that I otherwise wouldn't have had, and so that's given me a huge advantage. Now, what I wanted to do with these units, the Juggernaut, because remember, this is a half Mangonel, half Cannon Galleon. I wanted to move them forward and actually destroy, you know, this fort, these archer ranges. But if I'm remembering correctly, I think I get distracted by just everything going on up here, trying to get the eco set up. So, a missed opportunity if I'm not mistaken. We'll keep an eye on them, and hopefully something happens. Take a look at this. Conqueror recognizes that, you know, I'm likely to just go all in on Scorpions, right? I'm going to go heavy into Scorpions. What should I do against Scorpions? Well, the Capped Ram is a unit that has an awful lot of Pierce armor. It does great damage against siege units. And with the Macedonian unique unit, the unique tech, which I believe he picks up, combined arms tactics, those siege units will move 40% faster. So we're talking nitrous oxide capped rams that will be a mortal threat to a heavy siege composition. Fortunately, I don't just have siege, so I might stand a chance against what he's got here. Yeah, another siege rams. Ugh, scary. Scary pieces of work. Here we go. The assault begins, and we have our heavy siege onager, which is, again, our version of the trebuchet, right? Just taking a look out for us. Notice how little food I have. It's because I'm trying to mass up scouts and continue to produce legionaries. Big moment here. Big moment. We have the Macedonian composite bowmen and their unique unit, the Argyrospidae, moving in against scorpions, heavy onagers, auxiliary cavalry, and legionaries. Legion are in melee mode this time. I did remember, you definitely want to go into melee mode if you're going to attack veterans. Look at how fast these rams are. Just moving in, getting behind the lines to do damage to siege. Yes, they will significantly damage these heavy onagers. That's the bad news. The good news is, even the mangonel will do some work and scare off the archers, allowing the rest of the army. At this point, yeah, you're... Oof. Mangonel down. I got a lot of legionaries. That's the good news. But Legion, they're going to lose against the composite bowmen, and I don't really have anything else. I got a few scorpions. It's not bad, but I would really need a lot more in the way of scorpions in order to effectively deal with this threat. I'm moving in with the legionaries. I think that's a mistake. They do have a lot of pierce armor. That part's good, but... Here the scorpions. Let's see what 3 scorpions can do. He definitely is scared. This attack actually is kind of working. Ooh. Yeah, Argyrospidae doing work. They've got extra range on their attack, so they're pretty effective in that sense. He's doing a very good job of protecting this block of composite bowmen. So that attack goes down. That's the bad news. But he's so focused on what's happening up here that let his eco kind of get distracted. And he is going to lose bills that he otherwise would not. Going on the offense, yeah, you will take a legionary down, but there's quite a few bills in that shuffle. Here we go. I think this is our first wave of auxiliary cavalry. I mean, we had some earlier, but my game plan at this point, get the eco going to just flood scout cav, auxiliary cavalry, into his base. And even if he kills the cav, just deal damage to his eco that he cannot sustain in the long run, and then keep the waves going. While your own eco back home is chugging along just fine. Meanwhile, I'm kicking myself with these juggernauts, man. They were great units. And you want to play Mediterranean as a combination of land and sea. And so it's a good choice that I just forgot to use the units I built. I do have a lot of heavy scorpions, which is a great unit. And at these numbers... Yeah, he thought he could take that fight because they have high pierce armor, but no. That's too many heavy scorps. What are you gonna do against all those scorpions? So let's go for now. Uh-oh. 1 down, 2 down. 3 down, 4 down, got a little distracted there. 4 scorpions down. Not good. Meanwhile, and I think wisely, Conqueror has started to migrate his economy down southwest. So, moving the wood lines, he's picked up all the gold that was available down here. second castle down. Second fort down. Here we go, another wave of auxiliary cavalry, backed up with legionaries and heavy scorps. Look at these siege rams. That's just disgusting how fast these guys are. Now, take a look at this bad boy. This is a star of Romad Bellum for sure, the TheConqueror753, if I'm not mistaking that. This is the super heavy transport ship. It's carrying, how many units does that have right now? It's, let's take a look. It can carry up to 45 units. So the siege rams, the composite bowmen, they've loaded in, and they're on their way. He's not trying to defend his base. He is trying to go on the offense. Which I love that. You know, if you find yourself in a position where you're losing, what you probably need to do is go on the offense, introduce some chaos. Here are these juggernauts that I forgot about. I'm trying to do some work, but they're in long range mode, and they can't really do a lot by themselves. Here we go. And for the longest while, I'm over here, I'm watching the battle here and thinking, boy, why isn't he surrendering yet? This is going so well. And I'm so used to the attack bell going off, I don't see this at all. Not for the first while. Auxiliary cavalry putting in work. And I finally see it, and you know what? I realize, I think he's gonna laugh at me in a second because I rang the town bell. So weird. I don't know why it's not showing up. He sent me a message to be like, you know, lol, town bell. Why would you ring the town bell? And and the reason why, even though the town bell is not as efficient as this, I get a speed A, have closed ranks on the Scorpions, and because they were no longer in a straight line, the Scorpions were not as effective as they otherwise would be. So they do a good job against the Scorps, but there are too few of them left to deal with the Scout Cav, so the Scout Cav moves in, they're going to take down this TC. And yeah, I used the town bell, even though it's not the most efficient thing, it's because I needed to focus in on just on the attack. I need to do something to shut down this offensive of his as quickly as possible. Yeah, how many do we have? 11 there. I am a little worried because if he keeps moving his archers forward, there's an awful lot of farmland and villas that have no defense at all. Other than maybe the cav here. I guess the cav could try to do something. We're trying to clear up this siege workshop. It's got some onagers inside. Not going to be very effective against scout cav. Boom, boom, boom. Ouch. Trebuchet goes down, and that's one fast-moving mango, but that's that. And at this point, you can kind of see where this is headed. Conqueror has 41 bills, nothing, no water presence. I've got 73. And I think that attack earlier, the naval attack, was sort of a last gasp effort. Fortunately for me, the archers got stopped right here by the few scorpions that I had. They were able to kind of put an end to that. So at this point, we're just watching auxiliary cavalry put on pressure. really trying to hang on. He's got a temple with 2 relics inside, but that's all he's got gold-wise, and a lot of food, a lot of wood. So he can go trash for a while. But the problem is I still have a fair amount of gold. No, I don't. What am I talking about? I've got 10 gold in the bank. So what I have is a fair amount of gold units. I still have scorpions. I suppose I'm kind of built for the trash war in a way that he's not. Remember, my scout cav are cheaper. And I have the more blacksmith upgrades that he does for the scout cav, the auxiliary cavalry. And so at this point, I'm going to fast forward a little bit. And get some raids in. He goes in with an attack. And so I got some good kills. I'm going to shut down the onagers, so that shut down my offensive for a little bit, but Scout Cav gets through, they're doing even more damage on him. He's down to 37 bills. Down to 24 bills. And every wave just allows me to build more auxiliary cavalry at home. I see the temple. I decide he doesn't need gold. Even now, when I so clearly have control of this land, I'm trying to get a forward castle up. And he nearly stops me. But, for some reason, this one builder on 10 HP makes it out alive. And so, Roman dreams of building a castle, a fort, in Macedonian land finally come to fruition. Here is a light cav attack, I believe, of his coming in. He's sending in more of his auxiliary spearmen. Good units and right response, but just a matter of size. I think I've got mass that he can't do. Castle goes down. Which means it's time to raid. There we go. Oh, there's the town bell, yeah. So that's what it was. That's what it was. He went in with the cav, and yeah, just called the town bell so I could focus on the offense. And there it is. That is the game. So guys, I gotta tell you, Rome ad Bellum, Rome at War. This is a fun mod to play. I mean, it's fun. Age of Empires 2. I think AoE 2 is one of the best designed games of all time. But just seeing the unique twist that the Rome ad Bellum devs have brought to the game is really awesome. It is even more fun playing in multiplayer, actually using these different bonuses and things like, your choice of unique technologies. The naval update is amazing in multiplayer. Just the different tools that are available. I'm kicking myself that I didn't get to use the Juggernauts, that I didn't use the Juggernauts, but the flexibility and the opportunities that are available on the water, the unique techs, the unique units, it adds a lot. It's fun and a fresh twist on Age of Empires 2 that made it a lot of fun to play. My hat is off to the Conqueror. I won these 3 games, but I want to say he won the last 3 games that we played in a row, and he is a tough opponent for sure. So it's just, I guess it was my day today with these 3. But he's a really good opponent, and my hat is off to him as a player and as a dev. This is just an amazing mod, and all of the Rome ad Bellum guys should be very proud of the work they put into this. Guys, I will have links below. You've seen the videos that I put out on how to install Rome ad Bellum check that out in the playlist at the end of this video, and you can see how to install it for yourself. I encourage you to give it a spin. It is a lot of fun, especially if you can get some people to play multiplayer with you. It is a blast. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like it, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. For now, guys, this is the Iron Kaiser, signing off.